Namaskar to everyone. I am extremely happy to be on the Nalanda WebShaala today. And I must congratulate the person who got this thought into their head and then gave this beautiful name. See, that is the topic of my talk today. Thought to presentation, and then how an idea develops into a performance. Nalanda WebShaala is an idea that has developed into a performance, an online performance. My sincere thanks to Kanakben, Uma, Vaidehi, and the full team at Nalanda who has created this wonderful platform called Nalanda WebShaala. Okay, I am going to talk how a thought goes into a presentation. I will first talk about this with context to my Guruji. My Guruji, Kelucharan Mahapatra, his forte was Jayadeva's Ashtapadis. He simply loved to choreograph those Ashtapadis. His thought was always something different. I will just delve into one Ashtapadi, the 12th Ashtapadi, Pashyati Dishi Dishi. How Guruji thought about this Ashtapadi, and then how he put his thought into a presentation. Radha is looking for Krishna here, there, everywhere, in every direction. She's looking, pining, waiting for her dear Lord Krishna. Suddenly, she sees him sitting under a tree. She is elated. She walks towards the tree, stretches her arms, and embraces Krishna and realizes it is not Krishna, it is only a tree. This was one way of creating Krishna's vision. Radha seeing him here, there, anywhere, everywhere. Then he goes deeper. Now look at how he now develops his thought, and in a very beautiful way, in a very deeper meaning. Radha is making a garland for Lord Krishna. She thinks, what is the point of me making this garland? Suppose he does not come. And in this thought, her mind in this thought, she stretches her hand to get another flower. And she sees Krishna's lotus feet. Ecstatic, she looks a little higher. She sees his pitambar. Her loving gaze goes even higher. She sees his waistband. Then his vanamala, his peacock feather, and his flute. She doesn't move her eyes away. She doesn't want to lose his vision. In a dream, she picks up the garland, ties the strings, gets up, stands, comes in front of him, garlands him, and then stretches her arms to embrace him. She has not blinked even once. She has not shifted her gaze from his face She embraces him and thinks of him lovingly, kissing her. And when she closes her eyes, she realizes it is not Krishna. The vision, the apparition has vanished. That was Guruji's thought to presentation. He actually made Krishna alive on the stage. Getting to understand Guruji's thought process when he taught us these Ashtapadis made me think differently too. I remember for the Nehru Center production Ashtanayika, I was asked to do the Swadhyanda Bhartraka Naika. I don't remember the exact words of the Hindi poem, but I remember that in it was described that the Nayak had given the Nayika a whole lot of jewelry, and I was supposed to describe that jewelry, portray that jewelry through my dance. And I thought, when two people are so much in love, just the presence that the Nayak, her lover, is there, he's the jewel of her life. When he embraces her around the neck, that's a necklace. He holds her by the waist and walks along with her, that is a belt. He holds her by the wrist and pulls her close, that is her bangle. And when he kisses her finger, that is her ring. Why does she need different jewelry when the jewel of her life is in front of her? That was my thought for this poem, my thought into presentation. What I have said now is thought to presentation for an individual. What happens when you have a thought which you think that you cannot present it as an individual, but you require a group? So I will talk about my experience, how my thought became an idea, and then how that idea developed into a performance. Many of you will know or have heard of Medha Patkar, but for the younger generation who may not know, Medha is the one who fought for the justice, for the rights of the Adivasis who lived on the banks of river Narmada when the dam was being built across it. Medha is my age. She was in my college. When Medha started the Narmada Bachao Andolan, I had already started learning Odissi with Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra. In 1982, Guruji started coming to Mumbai and conducting workshops at NCPA. I think this was year 1986 when Medha brought her agitation to Mumbai. Every day from Churchgate station, I would walk to NCPA, and on my way I would see Medha, her colleagues and her volunteers fasting for the Adivasis' rights. This disturbed me a lot. I used to keep thinking that look at this woman, she's my age and she's giving her life for these people, and what am I doing? I'm only dancing. But then when I reached NCPA and when dance with Guruji would start, all these disturbed thoughts would just vanish, evaporate. But the next day, same story. And this happened for about a week because Medha stopped her fast in 7 days. But this thought remained inside me, it stayed inside me, dormant, for several years. And after several years, it brought its head up again. This thought then became an idea that through dance, this struggle of Medha Patkar and the Adivasis can be shown on the stage. And to conceptualize this, to get this idea into a good form, I was helped by a brilliant young writer. I knew that the river could be portrayed beautifully through Odissi dance. Our torso movements, side to side, front and back, circular, all these movements were excellent to portray the river. And for the tribals, for the Adivasis, folk dance. Now Narmada travels to 3 states, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. So we could take folk steps from these 3 regions. And as a child and as a teenager, I have done plenty of folk dance. So that was it. And for the dam, we had a very novel idea. We used the gymnast boys and to make a pyramid to show the dam. The Narmada River, the Odissi girls wore typical Odissi costumes in different shades of blue and white. The dam boys wore black. They were covered from head to foot, full sleeves. Everything was black. And the Adivasis, of course, they were draped in their normal attire, the saris and dhotis draped in different ways, like in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. So this was set that how will the river be portrayed, how will the Adivasis be portrayed, and how will the dam be portrayed. But how to actually bring it out? We thought, or we compared a river to a woman. How a young woman frolics along. Similarly, Narmada flows freely with abandon. She's flowing, banging against rocks, falling down in waterfalls, brightening up people's lives, sometimes calm like a mature woman. And when this free-flowing, abandoned river is suddenly stopped, when a dam comes in front of her, she is stunned, she's confused, she's bewildered, she is angry. Wouldn't the same happen to a woman when her freedom is suddenly snatched away? That is what happened. That is how we began by portraying the river. I must mention one thing here. When showing the free-flowing, bubbly river Narmada, I used a variety of hastas. The pataka to show her flowing in various directions. The Alapadma to show the waterfalls. The Pataka to show the calmness. The Mukula and Sandansa to show the brightness under the sun. How the river looks bright when the sun shines on it. Then Hansasya, when she's bewildered, confused. And then finally, when the dam is built, Karkata, because she says, this water is mine. The water flows, but she binds it to herself. She does not want to share her waters. She does not want the waters to be stopped by the dam. That was how we showed the river Narmada. The Adivasis lived on the banks of the river Narmada. So it wouldn't have been difficult to show the Adivasis their life on the banks of a river. But how do we bring Medha into the picture? How do we get her character? The Adivasis who lived on the banks of the river Narmada called the river the Maya because she was a mother to them. She supported their livelihood, their farming, their fishing, whatever they did. Narmada Maya was always there for them. In fact, there is a beautiful poem or a traditional song of the Adivasis that goes Pavana Jhakola Kha Rahi Re Maiya Ki Chunariya Leher Leher Lehra Rahi Re Maiya Ki Chunariya. Isn't it beautiful? As the breeze blows, our river mother's dupatta flies in the air, in the breeze. When the dam construction started and when Medha started fighting for these Adivasis, they believed so much in her. They considered her too as their mother. They called her too Maya. In fact, they compared her to the river. Narmada was their Maya, and here Medha too was their Maya. And that fact gave us the thread of how to bring Medha into this presentation. When the dam is constructed, well, I spoke about that wonderful traditional song of the Adivasis. They are such naive, innocent people. When the dam construction started, they were bewildered, just as Narmada was bewildered. But they were not bothered, because to them, Narmada has always protected them. So, they just changed a few words in their traditional song. Pavana Chakola Kha Rahi Re Maiya Ki Chunariya Baan Dase Nahi Ruk Jaiyo Re Maiya Ki Chunariya. Isn't that lovely? The same thing in the breeze. The river's dupatta is flowing. But no dam is going to stop this free flowing of the dupatta of the river. Okay, anyway, coming back to how we got Medha into this presentation, the character of Medha into the presentation. When the dam is being constructed, the Adivasis are furious because their Narmada Maya's water is being tried to stop. So they do a furious dance on either banks of the river. So we took it as the Adivasis are dancing, the river is getting churned. Nadi ka manthan ho raha hai. जोर से मंथन हो रहा है. And like Samudra Manthan, in this churning of the river, in this Narmada Manthan, what happens? The soul of the river Narmada comes out and takes the form, a human form, the form of a woman, And that was our Medha Patkar. The soul of the river Narmada was Medha Patkar. Because for the Adivasis, Medha was Maya, Narmada was Maya. So once Medha's character was established, then this character guides and trains the Adivasis how to fight against the dam. This we showed through the Medha character dancing in Odissi and the tribals, the Adivasis, following her through folk dance. And every time the presence of the dam was there. And sometimes to show this agitation or this fight, what I have done is the Adivasis and Medha are on one side and they're dancing towards the dam. And the dam is a pyramid of two levels, 5 boys in the lower level, 4 boys on the upper level. And then the dancers, folk dancers and Medha come close to the dam. Then the dam comes forward and pushes back the Adivasis, and it goes on this way and sometimes it goes on this way. This is showing the fight of the Adivasis and Medha against the dam. At a certain point in the presentation, when the character of Medha feels that she has guided the Adivasis enough, she once again becomes the soul of the river. She gets absorbed into the waters of the river. And then, for the end, we went into a fantasy. The fantasy was, well, see, the dam was going to be completed, definitely. We were aware of that. When we made this production, we were aware that the dam is going to get completed. So, in our performance, in our presentation, we completed the dam. The dam is complete. But then we went into fantasy. And what was our fantasy? That Narmada, the free-flowing Narmada, just vanishes and vanishes into the earth. You cannot see the waters of Narmada anywhere. The land is dry. There is drought everywhere. The Adivasis do not know how they will survive. But this happens just for a little while. Just for a while. Narmada Maya, who has disappeared into the earth, bursts forth again as tiny rivulets from different places. The rivulets come from here, from there, from there. The waters come. Why? Because Narmada is their Maya. And to depict this, what we did was, every time while dancing, the hands would be going front or side, but when Narmada vanishes, there were steps taking them backwards. There were 7 dancers who depicted Narmada, and they always danced in unison, always together, to show the flow of the water. So here, all 7 of them exit from the stage by doing a backward step and taking their arms like this instead of the usual this. And then they exit, and how do I show them coming as different rivulets? What I did was, I think this thought was simply terrific. I made all these 7 dancers enter the auditorium through the doors meant for the audience. And they came from there, all 7 of them, surprising the audience. They danced through the audience and then climbed onto the stage. That was Narmada. And it is so beautiful. We ended with a poem. Narmada says that I do not want to be stopped. I want to show the world that my waters will be used the way I want them to be used, not the way the world thinks. I. So she says, मेरा है जल, मैं हूँ नदी, बहती जहाँ साहिल मेरा, संघर्ष से निर्मित मैं हूँ, ये जमीन और जंगल मेरा. That's how we end the Valley Narmada. So now I will show you all a few videos for you all to get some idea of how the thought became an idea and how the idea became a performance. The first video that you will see is Narmada freely flowing. Narmada vahate yatiri tyatiri tolati sadhate Narmada vahate. Moksha prapti tati sagara bhetate Narmada vahate. And when she is flowing freely, suddenly the dam happens. The gymnast boys come and create a pyramid in front of the river. And then the river stops all her other mudras, and in Hansasya, the girls move around. The girls move around in Hansasya, and immediately, the immediately following video is a very tiny clip where the river is with the Karkatahasta, where they are dancing and saying, that means the river is saying that I will not give my waters to anybody. Is where the dam is being constructed, and the river is confused and bewildered, and she's looking at the dam, and the Adivasis are totally bewildered. They don't know what is happening. It's a tiny clip. Is about the traditional song that I mentioned, Pavana Chakola Kharahire Maiya Ki Chunariya. This is when the Adivasis are singing that song before the dam is constructed, and how they are enjoying the breeze and the waters of the river. The next clip is of the same song, Pavana Chakola, but in which the Adivasis have changed the words because now the dam is being constructed and they are not bothered. Pavana Chakola kha rahi re Maiya ki chunariya, Band se nahi ruk jaiyo re Maiya ki chunariya. And in this there is a slight protest amongst the male Adivasis. That was Narmada. Before we see that video, I once again thank everybody at Nalanda. Thank you Kanakben, Uma, Vaidehi, and all those who have brought Nalanda WebShaala into existence. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.